things were really difficult in our relationship, especially. I mean, for both of us, not just me, but for her as well. She was ready to check out, or mentally, she had already checked out, and emotionally, I was just devastated. And there were things happening in our relationship. She was very much more open to speaking with other people and friends and stuff about our relationship, but not coming to me. And that made things even that much harder. And I felt like, there was a betrayal of trust between us. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to come back from that, or how to even really deal with it. And after meeting with Jess, things got a lot easier for me to like stop focusing on April and start focusing really more on myself and what was I putting out there and how I was dealing with things. And honestly, like after going through that first session, it really opened my eyes up to a lot. And I started, I started asking April to just consider the possibility of seeing Jess. But I tried not to put any pressure on her to do it. I would just throw it out there whenever I could and hoped. What do you think? What do you want to say?
So before meeting Jess, I was really ready to leave. Like I was out the door, mentally, almost physically. And I mean, we had tried a couple other counselors and therapists and couples counseling before, and it was just not good. Not a very good experience and stuff. So when he brought up seeing Jess, because he's the one that found her, I was just like, like I don't want to do it. Like, and he met her first, and then it took a while, I think like a couple months before I even met her myself. And I was more like, okay, well, I'm going to do this because I know I'm leaving, and then at least I could say that I tried. So that's pretty much where I was at, my whole attitude towards it when it started. So when I met with Jess, there was just an instant connection, and it felt right. And
I was gonna say, I knew that if she met with Jess, that I probably had at least a shot fixing this. I knew they would hit it off.
Yeah. So I mean, it was really like, I'm done before we even met with Jess.
That's
now things are better. Obviously.
Meeting with Jess, and after we signed up for her program, we weren't quite sure if we could do the 6 months. So we signed up for a 3-month program.
Right. We weren't ready for the big commitment. I wasn't ready to commit 6 months because again, I was ready to go.
Yeah. So we finally agreed, and we committed to at least trying for 3 months, and wanted to see what where this went. And Jess ended up giving us tools to better communicate with each other. Really helped us navigate our arguments, get outside of our own experiences, and really start seeing the other person's point of view. It's always funny to me because it's like, I used to always say to people, it's like, oh, well, put yourself in their shoes. But, it's a lot harder. You think you're doing it, but you're really not. And you really have to hear the other person's experiences without, honesty, opening your mouth and, passing any kind of, criticism or judgment, or telling the other person, well, you could have done this. So,
yeah, I feel that we got a lot of really good tools for those fights to pretty much kind of take a step back and evaluate what's really going on, because sometimes the fight wasn't even about what we were fighting about. It was more about trying to understand our partner, and understand why they may be upset about something, or just what triggered the fight that you may think, why are we fighting about this? And I definitely, before meeting with Jess, there was a lot on my part, of I don't really care what you have to say, shutting down and walking away. This process made me like take that step back, and there was a lot a lot less, oh, me and this is how I'm feeling, and then more like, okay, well, this is how I'm feeling, but then how are you feeling? And just being open to it, more lovingly fight, if that's even the right way to say it, like, because you're gonna have arguments, and you're gonna have disagreements, and you're gonna fight, but it's about how we come out on the other side. And before, it was a lot of me was just shutting down and walking away. I'm over it. And now it's, even when we have our tiffs and arguments, I'm so quick to want to come back and fix it. Like, let's get past this. And there's no resentment anymore, or anger anymore as much. It goes away a lot faster, and it's, I don't know, just feel like there's more it's more loving than trying to hurt each other's feelings.
Yeah. I think, sorry.
Our son's in the background.
We really got a lot of tools, and, I don't know, like there were so many things, like there are tools, they're easy to understand, but the tools that we got, it helped us also realize and kind of take a step back and look at ourselves a lot better, and analyze, well, why do we feel this way? Why am I so disturbed by what April is saying? So it just really created a safe zone for us, and a place for us to actually take the time to listen to each other. And I think that was the hardest thing for us. And sometimes it still is. Sometimes, we actually need, additional support. Just because we started to fall into our old habits, and but we realize it a lot faster than we ever did before.
There's more lights on in the relationship, to shine on the things that we're like, oh, okay, that's really how I see it. and to put, like, when we started, I had said this before, like, our relationship was definitely a fixer upper, like tearing down, ready to be like, I'm out. And with Jess, I feel like she gave us the tools to fix our
strengthened our foundation,
and fix our little fixer upper of a relationship. And it's come a long way, but it's going to be constantly working and making it bigger and stronger. But yeah, and it's a big turnaround for me. I feel like, it can only just get better from here.
I don't know if this is relevant, but it's like there's me in the relationship, there's her in the relationship, and then there's the relationship. It's like it's its own entity, and we have to try to constantly keep that in mind. What is best for the relationship, not just the individual.
Right.
So
it was a lot of selfish acts in prior to Jess, just trying to be together, but still be, well, it's about me, not about the other person. So, and you don't realize it. It's really funny when you don't realize how bad it is until you kind of take a step back in and go through this process. It's like, oh, there is really a selfish person in this relationship, and it's different now. It's a lot better. I'm gonna say nothing's perfect, but it's definitely in that boat of we're doing this together and not I'm just here.
There's a lot less selfishness on both parts. It's night and day.
Yes. So I think one of the biggest outcomes from doing this work with Jess is our communication, because our communication was really bad. I was the one that shut down. I was the one that liked to walk away. and he was the one that wanted to always like work things out and clear things up. And I was very good in, I was an expert in avoider. And I think this has really like put me outside of it's all about me and put me into like, okay, I got to pay attention to what's going on, how and how he's feeling and everything like that. It's really helped. I think we've gotten really better at communicating. And when we fight, we even better at like ending our fights. I kind of get silly, try to make them laugh. This is really come back together a lot faster and a lot easier than before.
I was gonna say, and for me, running, like when she would run away or try to get away from an argument, I was really bad at pretty much chasing her down and just following her and trying to get my point across and trying to get my voice heard. And what I didn't realize then was that she needed space. She needed to decompress and just have a moment. And I needed to kind of just sit back and give her that space and realize that she would come back and that she was going to try to work things out. But when we used to fight, I just didn't think like that. Now that was one of the tools that Jess, helped me see, so that we could, move forward. In April, and I do a lot better job at when we get into arguments of like, oh, okay, well, I'll just, I'll wait. It's not that big a deal. And she does a lot better job at coming back and talking through our disagreements.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's true. I mean, I guess about a little over a year ago I was ready to leave, and in less than 2 months we were getting married. So yeah. That's I really believe that we wouldn't be here without Jess, because we've talked about marriage before and I was like, no, it's not gonna happen. Like, that's not happening. Like, and I really, really would not be, I probably wouldn't be here. We'd be on our separate ways trying to co-parent our child. So it has been a huge, I can't say it enough. Jess has been such a blessing, and it was meant to be in this relationship. We learned a lot, and I think there's a lot big takeaways for me, at least.
Oh yeah, no, it's just it's a little bit funny to me because I do have friends that have issues in their own relationships, and they see, how fast everything kind of turned around for us, and they're like, what happened, and what can we do? And first thing I tell them is, well, you should contact Jess. And they're like, well, but can you just tell me what to do? And I'll give them a few pointers. I said, but they'll, ultimately I tell them, you should really at least set up an appointment with Jess, and you'd be surprised at just what one session can do for you. Just imagine going through a couple of months. So
yeah,